Hello everyone. In this video, I'm going to show you how to do simple web page deployment through GitHub Pages. The focus of this video is not looking at the specifics of web development, but rather to show you how to do deployment and how to work with GitHub in general. So yeah, let's get started. In for this video, I want to create like a sort of like a very simple basic portfolio page and then host it through GitHub Pages. So let's get started. I'm gonna create a directory. I'm gonna call it portfolio. I'm gonna go inside this portfolio, and inside this portfolio, I would like to first create an index.html file. So I'm gonna say touch index.html file, and then I can open this index.html file in my VS Code. I don't want to write the HTML manually. I can just like rely on Google Copilot. So I can say create a simple portfolio page and then basically make changes on top of it. Okay, so that makes the development process really fast. So let's say I am happy with it. Before I do anything, I can sort of like view the web page locally, and I can do that by an extension called live server. So if you have the live server extension installed on your VS Code, what you can do is you can do right click and then open with live server, and then I can see what this looks like. So it's like very basic. We have not any added any styling, any CSS element to it. Maybe we can do it later in this video, but for the time being, let's say we are happy with it. Okay, now we can proceed to sort of like pushing it to our GitHub repo. Now this video is a sequel of the previous video, so it expects that you know about the basics, you know about the like how to set up your GitHub repo and everything. So I'm not gonna cover these commands in detail. So if you have not seen that video, please check that video out first, and then we can do a simple git initialization. And then from the working directory, if we want to bring the changes into the staging area, we can say git add dot, and then we can do a simple git commit, and we can say added an index.html file. We're almost done. Now we have to go ahead and create the repo. We can do that using GitHub command line interface package that we covered in the previous video. So we can go ahead and say repo create, and it's doing auto suggestion. So I'm gonna use that. So we are saying that the repo is public. For the source, we want the current directory. For the remote, we want the origin, which is the default name for your remote repository. And then the action that we want to perform is the push. So I'm going to say push, and it says added remote, and it pushed the commit. So if we have done it correctly, the repo should appear in our GitHub account, and it does. So we have successfully created a portfolio um, repo here. And this has the index.html that we created. Now what we want to do is we want to deploy it. Okay, so we want to do settings, and we want to go to the pages option in the sidebar. We're going to go to pages, and then sources deploy from a branch. For the branch, we want to select master, and then we're going to hit save. So anytime you set it up like that in the settings, it will always try to and identify if you have added any file. And if you have, then based on it, it's gonna try to build your website, and then it's gonna try to do a deployment. And you can follow along the progress of it in the actions section of your GitHub repo. Okay, so here you can see how the page is being built and how the page is being deployed. You can go ahead and click on it, and it's going to show you the steps really. And for whatever reason, if it fails, you can also find out more about it through the log section. So you can see that the build has been successfully done, and now it's just waiting for deployment. Okay, so I'm just going to wait for it to complete, and you can see here that it did finish both the build and the deployment. So now what we can do is, instead of viewing it locally, we can actually now view it on the cloud. So we can go to the name. So amitavde.github.io, that's basically my username, and then .github.io followed by the name of the repo. So the name of the repo we set for this particular project is portfolio. So we can click on this, and we can see our portfolio page on the cloud. So that's awesome, right? But let's say this is at the moment this is very basic. So what we want to do is we want to add some styling to it. Okay. So what we can do here is we can come back to our code, and what we can do here is we can add some styling. But let's say we don't wanna mess up the main code base, because let's say the code base is very stable, the version of it is very stable. So what we wanna do is we wanna create a separate branch. So you have to understand the branch concept in GitHub. When people are working parallelly on the same project, people can create separate branches. So let's say I wanna create a branch for just working on the CSS element, while someone else has a separate branch created just for building the contact feature of that particular website. So people can work on separate branches. Once they're happy with the changes and they want that be part of the main code base, they can sort of like merge that branch into the master branch, right? So what we're going to do here is we're going to create a separate branch. We're going to say get branch, and because we have CSS thing, so we can say add CSS, and then we can go and do a checkout. So checkout basically switches to that particular branch. So which branch do we want to move from the master branch to? We want to go to the add CSS branch. And you can see here also, I get visual feedback here. I can see that I'm currently in the add.css, add CSS branch, and I can make the CSS changes here without messing the main code base. So here, what I would like to do is I would like to create the add.css file. Okay. And I'm going to open add.css file. And here maybe I want to say create a simple CSS file to complement the index.html. Uh, turn h1 to red and turn background color to yellow. Very weird color choice, but let's say I want it that way. So it says h1 is red, body is yellow. um Maybe that should do the trick. I want to come here and then also add the style. So I'm gonna say add um style.css, add add.css. Okay. Okay. So here let's accept that, and let's first view it locally and see if it's recognizing the CSS changes before deploying it, because we want to make sure that whatever we deploy is actually correct. So I'm going to go here and do an open live server, and we can see the CSS change. So that's great. So it's recognizing the CSS. It doesn't look pretty, but that's not the point here. So now what we want to do is we are at the moment we are in the add CSS branch. So we want to move back to the master branch. So we're going to say git checkout master. And then what we can do is we can merge. Before we do a merge, let's see if we can see any status change. And here it says that the index.html file has been modified and the add.css has not been tracked. Before we do that though, let's go back to git add css branch. Um, Sorry, it's gonna be git checkout add css. Okay. Now here, before we do anything, we would like to add the element. So we can add all the changes we have made and we can bring it to the staging area. And then I'm gonna do a git commit, and I can say added some styling to my portfolio page. And then what we can do is we can move to the master branch. Okay. And you can see here, you can sort of like see that the master branch does not recognize the changes that we have made here. So if I want to go back to the add CSS, you can see the change is in that particular branch, but it's not in the master branch. So I can come back to the master branch, and then what I can do is I can sort of click merge it. So I can say merge add CSS, And now this has become a part of the master branch. Okay, so previously it was a separate branch, but now it's part of the master branch. And now let's say we are happy with all the changes we have made. What we can do is we can go and add this. Okay, and we can do a commit, and we can sort of like push origin to the master. Okay, and it says that, okay, so it did push it. So I'm gonna go here, see if it has pushed it, and it has. So you can see that the add.css styling has been added here. And anytime you add anything to it, what will happen is it will start doing deployment. Okay, now while that happens, I also want to show you some extra stuff here. So let's say am making a simple change here. So let's say insert your bio here, and then let me write some stuff. Okay, I have added an element here. Okay, now, if I come here and do a simple get status, so that will show you if there is anything that is different. Okay. So it says that the index.html file has been modified. Now, if you want to be very specific about what change has been added, what you can also do is you can do a get difference. Okay. And you can see here that it says that previously it was just insert your bio here, but now you have added another sentence here. So using that, you can also keep track of all the changes that you're making. So while we did that, we can see that the page has been built and deployed. And now we can go here and then go here and then try to see the website. And we can see that the css styling has been added. Okay, so that's a very simple way to sort of like deploy web page through GitHub Pages, and just like sort of incorporating GitHub in your day-to-day projects. So that's all for this video. I'll see you next time. Bye bye.